In this section, we will be using D3's enter, update, exit pattern to manage on-screen objects. In this video, we'll work on making objects appear using enter. As we see in this example, we will see new elements appear on the screen using the enter selection. We will see elements change type using the update selection. We will see elements change position using the update selection. And we will see elements be removed from the screen using the exit selection. First, our index.html file has two script tags, an index.js file and an elements.js file. This also has a div with an ID of chart wrapper with a width of 500 and a height of 700. Our index.js file is where we will call the code to build the visualization. Our elements.js file includes the logic of the visualization itself. The first thing we'll do in our index.js file is make an array of objects. This array of objects will represent the beginning of the elements on the screen. Each element will have a type and an ID. Next, we will use D3's select and append methods for selecting the HTML element, naming it chart div, and appending an SVG element to that chart div and calling it SVG object. We will also assign some attributes to our SVG object using the attributes API. Now, when we inspect our document, we have our chart wrapper and an SVG element. Next, we will build a color scale using D3's Scale Ordinal API. We will set the domain using pencil, pen, and marker. Even though we are not using marker now, we will be. And we set the range to be some colors. This is a brown type color and dark blue and hot pink. Brown for the pencil, dark blue for the pen, and hot pink for the marker. Next, we will call a function called drawElements. We will pass it the parent element that we were drawing to, in this case, the SVG object, and we will also pass it the data that we are using to draw, called writing utensils. We're going to build this drawElements function in our elements.js file. Our drawElements function in our elements.js file takes the parent element and the data. The first thing we're going to do is create a data join. We're going to grab the parent element, select all of the rectangles that don't exist yet, and associate some data with those elements. Let's inspect this data join in our browser console. Here is our data join. It contains a groups element, an exit element, and an enter element. The exit element represents data that will be leaving. We will handle this in a coming video. The groups element handles any elements that are on screen that are being edited. We will handle this in a coming video as well. The enter element handles elements that are new on screen. These are the elements we are working with in this video. We're going to use D3's join API to describe what happens with this enter selection. This enter selection can be a function with a result, but for this video, we will refer to the function using a variable, and we will build the function outside of this join method. This join method is new in version 5.8, so be sure to be using a new version of D3. Here, we build our enter handling function. This takes the enter element as a parameter. We're going to append a rectangle to each element in our enter selection. We will assign some attributes to each rectangle. We will assign an X position based on the index of that element. We will multiply the index by 40 and add 60, so this will space out each element horizontally. We will set a Y position of 50 so that the element is not touching the top of the screen. We will set a height of 100, a width of 10, and a fill using a function on each element type passed to our color scale. Let's inspect what happens. Now, our enter selection has created three rectangles, a brown pencil, a blue pen, and another brown pencil. This matches our original data set, a pencil, a pen, and a pencil, with matching color from our color scale. Now that we've created some elements on the screen, let's see how the same exact code can be run and handle adding more elements to the screen. In our index.js file, after we draw the initial elements, we will add a set timeout for 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds, we will take the writing utensils array, we will add another pen to the array with the type of pen and an ID of the length +1, and then we will call the drawElements function again with the SVG object as the parent and the writing utensils array. In our drawElements function, we're going to console log the data to see what it looks like each time. Here's what our data looks like. The first time we run the function, there is a pencil, a pen, and a pencil. After 2 seconds, a pencil, a pen, a pencil, and another pen are used. We will also log the data join to see what changes when we call the function the second time. Now, we've logged the data joins. The first time we call the data join, there are 3 elements in the enter selection. The second time we call the data join after 2 seconds, our enter selection has 4 elements, but the first 3 are empty. So when we work with the enter selection after the 2 seconds, we're only working with this new element. The rest of the elements are pushed into the groups element of the D3 selection. Let's see this run in action. 3 elements. After 2 seconds, a 4th element appears. In this video, we learned how to make objects appear using D3's enter method.